What if I told you your feelings are lying to you? What if I told you that the very emotions you trust, fear, doubt, sadness, anger, are the same ones silently keeping you from reaching your full potential? Here's the truth most people never realize. Your feelings aren't facts. They're temporary, fleeting, and often irrational. But if you don't train your mind to rise above them, they'll run your life. They'll control your choices. They'll dictate your destiny. And that's exactly why this message is crucial. Because today we're not talking about chasing motivation. We're not talking about hype or hustle. We're talking about the core skill that separates the extraordinary from the average. Training your mind to be stronger than your feelings. Let's be real. Anyone can make moves when they feel good. When you're energized, confident, supported, and clear, showing up is easy. But what about when anxiety shows up first? What about when doubt whispers in your ear? What about when disappointment hits? When frustration builds? When motivation disappears? That's the moment where warriors are made. Not when it's easy, but when it's heavy, and you move anyway. You see, most people live their entire lives reacting. They wait to feel ready, feel inspired, feel positive before they take action. And because those feelings are inconsistent, so is their life. They build habits only when they feel like it. They pursue goals only when life feels kind. But champions, they're built differently. Champions don't wait for the right feeling. They create the right mindset. This video is your invitation to join them, to stop being a slave to every emotion that passes through you, and start being a master of your mental world. Because the most powerful version of you, it's not found in your comfort zone. It's not found on the days you feel motivated. It's found in the trenches, on the morning. Things you don't want to get up, the workouts you almost skipped, the tough conversations you'd rather avoid, the fears you stare down and walk through anyway. When you train your mind to be stronger than your feelings, you reclaim your power. You stop acting based on moods and start acting based on mission. You stop waiting for clarity and start moving with courage. You stop being led by emotion and start leading yourself. So in today's video, we'll go deep. We'll break down exactly how to build a mind that doesn't just survive the storm, but commands it. We'll give you the mental tools, mindset shifts, and daily strategies to rise above emotional noise and lock into your purpose with unshakable clarity. Because if you want to create a life that outlives excuses, if you want to become someone your past self wouldn't even recognize, then this isn't just a video, it's your wake-up call. Let's begin. Emotions are real, but they're not always right. Your emotions are real, you feel them, they hit hard, they come fast, and sometimes they're overwhelming. But here's what you must understand. Just because your feelings are real doesn't mean they're right. Just because something feels true in the moment doesn't mean it reflects reality. That's why if you want to lead a powerful life, a purposeful life, a grounded life, you have to train your mind to rise above the emotional noise. You feel fear, that doesn't mean there's danger. You feel doubt, that doesn't mean you're incapable. You feel unworthy, that doesn't mean you have no value. Emotions are messengers, not masters. They're trying to tell you something, yes, but they're not always telling you the truth. And if you let them lead, they'll take you places your purpose was never meant to go. Feelings are fleeting. One moment you're on top of the world, the next you're questioning everything. That's not weakness, that's humanity. But it becomes weakness when you start living by your feelings instead of through them. You can't build discipline on a foundation of emotion. You can't build a legacy if your moods are in the driver's seat. That's why your mind must lead. Your mind has to become stronger than the storm of emotions that rise and fall inside you. When you feel like giving up, your mind must speak. Not now, not yet. You've come too far. When you feel like you're not enough, your mind must remind you of the battles you've already survived. When you feel like quitting, your mind must replay your why and realign you with your purpose. This is the training ground, not in the moments when everything's going well, but when it feels like nothing makes sense and you still choose to stay steady. Training your mind means learning to pause, to reflect, to challenge what you feel before you act on it. It means buildies. Nang, that inner voice that says, I see this feeling, but I will not be ruled by it. Let's be clear, emotions are not the enemy. They make us human, but they were never meant to be the captain of your ship. You acknowledge them, you learn from them, and then you lead them. Your mind is the engine, your values are the map. Your emotions are just passengers, sometimes loud, sometimes scared, sometimes excited, but never in control. When your mind becomes stronger than your feelings, you don't react, you respond. You don't collapse under pressure, you rise in it. You don't abandon your goals because of a bad day, you keep showing up anyway. That's what separates the overwhelmed from the unstoppable. Don't be a slave to the temporary. One of the most dangerous things you can do in life is to make a permanent decision based on a temporary emotion. And we've all been there. You're tired, overwhelmed, angry, heartbroken, and in that emotional state you start making choices that can change the entire course of your life. Not because those decisions are rooted in logic, wisdom, or long-term thinking, but because they're rooted in how you feel in a fleeting moment. Let's get something straight. Feelings are temporary visitors. They come, they go. Sometimes they feel so loud and so urgent that they demand your immediate reaction. But your job is not to react. Your job is to respond intentionally. And that requires one thing: mental strength. You see, emotional impulses are like storms. If you let them, they'll throw your whole life off course. But storms always pass. The question is, will you still be standing when they do? You can't live your life like a leaf blowing in the wind of your emotions. You can't quit your goals just because today was hard. You can't walk away from people who love you just because you feel distant in one moment of pain. You can't declare that you're worthless just because anxiety whispered something cruel to you during a rough morning. If you allow your emotions to be your master, they'll chain you to cycles of regret. But if you train your mind to observe your emotions instead of obeying them, you'll find your power. Emotional maturity is recognizing, this is just a feeling, it's not a command, I don't have to act on it. Feelings are like weather. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's storming. But you don't cancel your life because of the weather. You adapt, you prepare, you endure. The same goes for your emotions. Yes, you may feel tired, but you still get up. Yes, you may feel discouraged, but you still show up. Yes, you may feel afraid, but you still take that first step. Because every time you act against your emotion in pursuit of your higher purpose, you're building emotional muscle. That's discipline. That's mental strength. That's how warriors are forged. Not when everything feels good, but when everything feels heavy and you choose to move anyway. So the next time your feelings beg you to quit, remind yourself, this is temporary, but my purpose is permanent. Don't build your life on shifting sand. Build it on values, principles, and vision. Let your emotions pass like clouds, but let your mission remain like the mountain. The mind leads, the feelings follow. You don't become unstoppable because you don't feel. You become unstoppable because you refuse to let those feelings control your next move. Create distance between reaction and response. In every emotionally intense moment, you're standing at a crossroads, reaction or response. One is fast, emotional, impulsive. The other is thoughtful, intentional, and rooted in discipline. The space between stimulus and action, that tiny gap, is where your power lives. And most people don't use it. They feel something and immediately react, snap back, lash out, shut down, walk away, and later, they regret it. Not because the emotion was wrong, but because the reaction didn't align with who they're trying to become. Let's be clear, reaction is emotion-driven, response is mind-driven. Training your mind means creating that pause between what you feel and what you do next. That pause is your battlefield. In that split second, you decide whether your feelings will drive your future or your principles will. Think about it. How many relationships have been destroyed not by deep issues, but by unchecked reactions? How many opportunities have been missed because someone couldn't manage their emotional outburst? How many dreams have been delayed because in a moment of frustration, someone gave up? Strong minds don't eliminate emotions. They learn to hold space for them without becoming them. They feel anger, but they don't act recklessly. They feel fear, but they don't freeze. They feel sadness, but they don't sabotage. They pause. They breathe. They think. That's the power of creating distance. It gives your mind time to filter. Is this reaction useful? Will this move bring me closer to my goal? Is this emotion telling me something I should process privately, not project publicly? That inner dialogue is your mental gym. Every time you pause and choose response over reaction, you're doing a rep. You're getting stronger, sharper, more unshakable. Let's say someone offends you. Your feelings rise. Anger, hurt, pride. Your reaction wants to snap, attack, prove a point. But your trained mind says, is this even worth my peace, my energy, my time? And often the answer is no. Not everything requires your reaction. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every feeling needs an audience. Sometimes the strongest move is the silent one, the calm one, the one no one sees, but you feel inside because you just won a war within yourself. You see, mastery over your emotions isn't loud, it's quiet. It's in the moment you decide, I don't have to be consumed by this. It's in the moment you give yourself a second to lead with strength, not sensitivity. Train your mind to delay reaction until wisdom has a chance to step in. Because when your response becomes more powerful than your reaction, you stop being controlled by life and start commanding it. Discipline over drama. In a world addicted to drama and distraction, discipline is the rarest and most powerful currency. Drama is easy, it's loud, it's reactive, it thrives on attention and emotional chaos. Discipline, on the other hand, is quiet. It's built in the dark when no one is watching. It's not glamorous, but it's transformative. And here's the truth. If you want to rise above your circumstances, if you want to live a powerful life, you have to choose discipline over drama every single time. Your feelings will constantly try to pull you into emotional chaos. They'll whisper, hit snooze, you're tired. Skip the workout, it doesn't matter. Why bother showing up today? No one notices anyway. And every time you obey that voice, you give your power away. But discipline speaks differently. It doesn't scream, it reminds. It says, you said you want better, so act like it. It says, show up anyway, because consistency builds greatness. That's the fight, every single day. The war between your feelings and your focus, between comfort and commitment, between what you want now and what you want most. Anyone can be motivated when things are going well. Anyone can be consistent when they feel good. But the great ones, the ones who become unstoppable, are those who don't wait to feel right to do right. They don't let emotions dictate action. They let discipline decide. Discipline is choosing not to argue when you know peace is more valuable than being right. Discipline is showing up to your goals even when life feels heavy. Discipline is saying no to what feels good in the moment to protect what feels right in the long term. But here's what most people miss. Discipline is freedom in disguise. It's not restriction, it's protection. It shields you from the emotional roller coasters that ruin progress. It grounds you when life tries to unhinge you. It builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. Because every time you follow through on your word, you send a message to your brain. I'm the kind of person who shows up, no matter what. And that's how confidence is built, not in random bursts of emotion, but in daily decisions that honor your higher self. So the next time you feel like skipping your habits, canceling your effort, or backing away from your mission, ask yourself, is this my discipline talking or my drama? Let the answer guide you. Let your mind take the lead. Because in the end, it's not your talent that builds success. It's not your mood. It's not your motivation. It's your discipline, the ability to do what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. That's how warriors are built. Not through noise, but through quiet, consistent, powerful discipline. Talk to yourself, don't listen to yourself. Here's a hard truth most people don't realize. Your mind is always talking, and if you don't take control of that conversation, it will take control of you. You have thoughts coming in every second, some empowering, many discouraging. You're not good enough. You're behind. What's the point? This won't work. These thoughts often come from fear, past pain, doubt, or insecurity. They sound like your voice, but they're not your truth. They are echoes of your emotions, not commands from your future. That's why you have to train yourself to talk back. Yes, literally talk to yourself. Most people just listen to themselves. They accept every thought, every emotion, every fear without questioning it. But you're not most people. You're building a stronger mind. And a stronger mind talks to itself with purpose, clarity, and truth. When your feelings scream, you're tired, you tell yourself you're built for this. When your emotions say, give up, you remind yourself, winners don't quit in the dip. When your inner critic whispers, you're not enough, your inner leader roars, watch me rise. This is not about fake positivity or cheesy mantras. This is about programming your mind to believe what you want to become. Your mind responds to repetition. And if you keep repeating negativity to yourself, you will start believing it's who you are. That's why affirmations work, but only if you believe them, feel them, and back them with action. Start telling yourself every morning, I am disciplined, I can handle pressure, I lead my emotions, they don't lead me. I'm not driven by motivation, I'm driven by vision. Say it until your subconscious mind starts replacing fear with belief. You'll be surprised how often your mindset shifts when you take over the conversation. Suddenly you're not waiting for someone else to hype you up. You're not begging for external validation. You become your own motivator, your own coach, your own guide. And here's the magic. When you train your inner voice to speak strength, you start walking differently. You carry yourself with confidence. You think with clarity. You stop second-guessing your every move. That's mental strength. But it won't happen automatically. You must be intentional. You must catch the lies in your head and replace them with truth. Because your feelings will lie, your doubts will exaggerate, your fears will distort, but your trained mind will say, not today, I know who I am, I know where I'm going. So don't just listen to yourself, lead yourself. Talk to yourself like someone you love, like someone you believe in, Because the voice you hear most often, your own, is shaping your entire reality. Let it be the voice that lifts you higher. Anchor yourself in your why. When your mind feels overwhelmed, your body feels exhausted, and your emotions feel scattered, there's only one thing strong enough to bring you back into alignment: your why. Your why is your anchor. It's the reason you started. It's the meaning behind your discipline. It's the deep purpose that holds you in place when life tries to knock you over. Because here's the truth. Your emotions will sway you. Your feelings will fluctuate. But your why must be unshakable. If you don't have a strong why, you'll give up when it gets hard. If you don't have a clear reason for pushing forward, you'll let temporary discomfort dictate long-term decisions. But when your purpose is solid, when your vision is clear, you stop being tossed around by the emotional waves of the moment, and you start becoming unmovable in your mission. So let me ask you, why do you want to get stronger? Why do you want to improve your life, your mindset, your discipline? Why are you waking up early, choosing discipline, ignoring distractions, and walking a harder path? Don't give surface answers like, I want success or I want more money. Dig deeper. Is it because you want to break a generational cycle, because you want to build a legacy your future self can be proud of? Because you're tired of living on autopilot and you're ready to take back control? Whatever your why is, it needs to be personal, emotional, and powerful. Write it down. Speak it every day. Revisit it every time you feel like quitting, because your feelings will try to make you forget. Your mind will be tempted to drift into comfort, but your why will remind you, we're not doing this for the applause. We're doing this because it matters. Even in the toughest moments, your why can become your light. When everything feels dark and chaotic, your why reminds you who you are. It gives as meaning to the pain. It transforms the struggle into sacrifice and the discomfort into destiny. Without a strong why, your discipline becomes a burden. But with it, discipline becomes an act of love. You stop working from force and you start working from fire. That fire is what separates those who endure from those who escape. It's what keeps you steady when the process feels heavy. It's what makes you unstoppable. So the next time your emotions scream for ease, silence them with purpose. When you feel like letting go, remind yourself what you're holding on for. When you wonder if it's worth it, remember, you're not just doing this for today. You're doing this for the future version of you who refuses to settle. Let your why be louder than your excuses. Let it ground you. Let it guide you. Because if your why is strong enough, your feelings will never be strong enough to stop you. Build habits that support your strength. Mental strength doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from structure, from systems, from daily habits that support your higher self even when your lowest feelings try to take over. You don't need to feel powerful to become powerful. You don't need to feel disciplined to act with discipline. You just need the right habits in place. Habits that don't rely on mood, but instead create momentum. The truth is, your habits are your real support system. They are the silent architecture of your success. You don't always need motivation. You need rituals that move you forward regardless of emotion, because your mind will forget, your feelings will shift, but your habits, they'll carry you on autopilot when everything else is falling apart. Want to train your mind to be stronger than your feelings? Start with the little things. Wake up when your alarm rings, not because it feels good, but because it builds self-trust. Make your bed, not because it changes the world, but because it teaches order. Exercise, not for looks, but for the mental clarity that comes with honoring your body. Journal, not just when you're overwhelmed, but as a daily reset for your thoughts. Meditate, not to become emotionless, but to observe your emotions without being owned by them. Every small repeated action is a vote for the type of person you're becoming. And here's the power in that. When you consistently choose strong habits, you start to see yourself as someone who is mentally strong, and identity shapes behavior. If you identify as someone who follows through, you'll stop negotiating with excuses. If you see yourself as someone with control, you'll stop reacting from chaos. If you believe you're someone who finishes what you start, your emotions lose their power to derail your progress. But it all begins with one habit at a time. Don't wait to feel ready. Build the habit and let the strength come after. Ask yourself, what daily habit drains me? What daily habit would empower me? Then choose. Set the structure. Repeat it until it becomes second nature. The goal isn't to become robotic. The goal is to build a system so strong that when your feelings get weak, your habits still lead the way. Because when your life is built on feeling, it crumbles under pressure. But when it's built on habit, discipline, and routine, it stands firm, even in the storm. That's how you build mental strength. Not in one grand moment of motivation, but in hundreds of quiet moments when you choose the habit that serves your future over the emotion that comforts your present. So take inventory of your habits, shape them with intention, because your future mindset is being trained today by what you repeatedly do. Your power is in the next decision. Let's bring it all home with this truth. Your power is not in the past, not in some distant future, it's in your next decision. It's easy to think mental strength is some unreachable state, a mountain only the enlightened or the elite can climb. But the truth, it's built one decision at a time, one moment of discipline, one act of defiance against your weaker impulse, one yes to what serves you and one no to what sabotages you. That's where transformation happens, not in some perfect, emotionless version of you, but in the version of you that chooses better despite your feelings. Mental toughness isn't about being fearless. It's about being aware of your fear and still moving forward. It's not about feeling nothing. It's about not letting your feelings decide everything. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you grow stronger. Every time you show up when your emotions tell you to give up, you gain control. Every time you act with discipline instead of defaulting to your mood, you shift your identity, and that identity becomes the foundation of a powerful life. You don't need to conquer the entire day. You just need to win the next decision, the next thought, the next action. Because the chain of greatness is built one link at a time. You ate poorly yesterday? That was then. You lost your temper? That was a moment. You skipped your routine? That was a page, not the whole book. The mind that is stronger than emotion doesn't dwell. It redirects. It forgives itself fast and returns to mission mode. It doesn't spiral. It recalibrates. And that's what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. They understand that progress isn't about perfection. It's about consistency in the right direction. Your next decision can be the turning point, the pivot, the moment where you start becoming the version of yourself you've overgeared. A's known is possible, but it begins when you silence the noise, pause the panic, and choose wisely. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes the most powerful decision is simply, I will keep going. I will show up. I will not be ruled by this emotion. Because the strongest mind is not the one that never feels. It's the one that feels deeply and still leads anyway. So today, ask yourself, what is the next decision that honors your highest self? Not the easy one, not the one your emotions want, the one your future needs. Choose that, and then choose again and again, until your life becomes a masterpiece of strong decisions made by a mind trained in truth, not trapped by feelings. That's your real power. So here we are, at the edge of everything that wants to hold you back and everything inside you that's ready to break through. If this video has taught you anything, let it be this. You are not your feelings. Your sadness is not your identity. Your fear is not your truth. Your anger is not your future. These are all temporary emotions, passing clouds in the sky of your mind. But you are the sky. You are the foundation. And your strength lies not in how you feel, but in what you choose to do despite how you feel. You have now seen the pattern. Every powerful breakthrough begins with a simple choice to not give in to emotion, to rise above the noise and to act with discipline, not impulse. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to wake up each day and say, I will not be controlled by how I feel. I will be led by who I choose to become. Because real growth doesn't happen when you feel like it. It happens when you don't feel like it and still do it anyway. Remember the key lessons from this journey. Discipline over drama. Talk to yourself. Don't listen to yourself. Anchor to your why when emotions pull you away. Let your habits lead when your heart wants to quit. Make the next right decision, even if it's small. This isn't just theory. It's the blueprint for mental toughness. And it's in your hands now. Don't wait for another video. Don't wait for another motivational quote. Don't wait for your feelings to align. Take everything you've learned today and apply it right now. In your thoughts, in your actions, in how you talk to yourself tonight and how you rise tomorrow morning. If you start showing up differently, your life will start responding differently. You'll no longer be tossed by emotional waves. You'll become the calm in the storm. You'll no longer second guess your ability. You'll trust in your discipline. And you'll no longer live on survival mode. You'll step into full power mode. This journey you're on, it won't be easy, but it will be worth it. The rewards of training your mind, unshakable peace, relentless focus, and a life that isn't ruled by fleeting emotion, but shaped by unbreakable decision. So I'll leave you with this. Feelings fade, seasons shift, life changes. But your mind, your trained, disciplined, focused mind, is the one thing you can always count on. Strengthen it, protect it, lead with it. And when the world gets loud, when your emotions try to scream, you'll smile quietly and say, I've trained for this. I choose strength. I lead myself. Now go prove it. With every decision from this moment forward,